start all over again?
Start all over. All right.
I'll start all over. So it's Wanda Bazin here from Strategize Your Success, and I'm in Tucson, Arizona. And I was just saying before I hit the record button, it has actually been raining all morning long here, which has been great. So Cynthia, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi there, everyone. Cynthia Bazin from Smart Chick, smartchick.me, and we need the rain in California, so bring it over. All right, Terri.
Hi, I'm Terri Klass. I'm from New Jersey, and it's a beautiful day here. I'm from Terri Klass Consulting, and I'm a leadership skills training consultant.
Terri, I can't tell you from Jersey at all.
You have a Jersey accent?
I love the accent. Don't mess with Terri. I love it.
I never thought about it.
I love it. All right, Wanda, do you want to introduce kind of the topic that we're going into today?
Yes, today we're going to be having Terri talk to us about stepping into your empowered self. So what does that exactly mean, Terri? Maybe you can start us off with the explanation of empowerment.
Yes. So we throw the term around empowerment all the time. And the thing with being empowered is people oftentimes will talk about empowering others, but we can't empower others until we empower ourselves. So my premise is we've got to understand what empowerment is all about. And really what it is understanding who we are and what's important to us. And then, this is the key, giving ourselves permission or the authority to actually do and pursue what's important to us. See, oftentimes we think things are important, but we just don't go ahead and do it. We don't give ourselves that permission. So that's what being empowered is really all about. And we've got to get in touch with what's important to each of us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, if anybody resonates with that, let us know or put some thoughts into the chat stream. We would absolutely love it. And welcome, Jacob and Mindy. Just give a shout out to you. She's great support. I will definitely, awesome. We'll switch off on the chat line. You know, definitely some great points, Terri, that resonate with me. For me, just totally, and this is my whole premise of my business, is that empowerment really means taking full responsibility for your life. And you kind of already said that, but you can't be empowered unless you really know yourself, like you said. And you really don't get to know yourself until you stop blaming others, and that you really start looking within and saying, okay, I've got this, I'm going to do this, and I am responsible for everything that happens to me now and moving forward. What about you, Wanda? What does empowerment mean to you? Is it similar stuff?
I think that sometimes, as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we have a tendency to beat ourselves up. You know, it's like we take that negative approach to it, like I should have known better, or I made a mistake and, maybe I hired the wrong person, or I spent money on some advertising that didn't pay off for me. And, here I am, I'm going to beat myself up over it. But, it's all part of the learning process. And I think we need to empower ourselves and say, it's okay. It is just part of a process of a bigger picture. And make sure that we allow ourselves, give ourselves permission to, to have those milestones, those mistakes, those, things that come along with just being in business every day.
Yeah. See, I think a huge piece of it is turning the successes and into our stories and making it part of our, what I call success history. So, and then we start to talk to ourselves in and Cynthia talks about this all the time, in a much more positive way. Instead of having that negative chatter, coming through, and telling us, as you said, Wanda, beating ourselves up and we made a mistake and why did we do this? We need to start focusing on the successes and then creating our stories. And that becomes that's how we begin the empowerment process.
Right. Well, Cynthia, I just want to say, if our audience has any questions, please put in /Q and then type in your question, because that will highlight it to us and we'll know that you're asking a question, and that we'd be glad to either bring you into, we have an empty seat here to ask your question personally, or if you just want to type it, that's fine too, whichever is your comfort zone. Go ahead, Cynthia.
No, I was just going to ask Terri because, we talked a little bit about this beforehand. What do we want to talk about on this Blab? And I'm just kind of interested before I ask you the next point is what made you choose this subject? Is this something that you see, in your business, that it's a topic that's necessary to address with your clients? I'm just curious, why empowerment?
Okay, so actually, my whole spiel and my passion is empowerment. And what I do in my business is I partner with organizations to create what I call cultures of empowerment. And I do this through leadership workshops and presentations. Awesome. And I go in and I help employees feel more empowered. I help them gain, we talk about ownership, understand what they're good at, what areas they need to grow, and be open to the growth. Mm-hmm. Growth is a big piece of empowerment.
Awesome. So, awesome. Yeah, I just like to always love the backstory because there is always something. You know what I mean? Why are you so passionate about empowerment? So that's fantastic. So, okay, so how can we empower ourselves? I mean, that's probably a big, lofty question. We could probably talk about that for the next 2 hours, but what are some of the ways that we can empower ourselves?
So the first thing that I think about in terms of empowering ourselves is to understand really what's important to us. So, right. And what we really value. So for example, I'll give you an example. I get energized by people, right? So and
positive people though, positive, not all people.
Right, exactly. So whatever I do in my career or in my volunteer work or whatever I tackle, it's got to have a people component because that's really what brings me energy and that's what empowers me. And for some people, they become empowered through their thoughts, right? Through their ideas, their thinking. Some people like to can't work for other people. And some people need to be they're sole owners, right? They're in business for themselves. The key is to figure out, the step is to figure out what is non-negotiable, what is really important to each. That drives. Like what, for you guys, what's the non-negotiable? What's the most important piece that you guys each?
Do you want to start, Wanda?
Or you go ahead and start.
I want you to start. No kidding. I got to think about there's all types of non-negotiables for me. Is that let's just say about the people that surround us and how people energize us. You know what? Toxic, negative people. The non-negotiables is that they are not going to emotionally affect me. You know what I mean? Is that I will listen to you, but you know what? There's a boundary. The non-negotiables are, you know what I'm saying? Is that we're not going to do this. We're not going to continue to, do the negativity. So the non-negotiables is that, you know what? You are not going to be in my zone, my inner circle of greatness. You know what I'm saying? Is that you may be an acquaintance of mine, but you know what? I can't have you in my inner circle. So the boundary is there. You know what I mean? To keep the toxic, negative people out. That's one boundary that I have and one non-negotiable.
Yeah. And what about you, Wanda? How about you?
Well, I agree with Cynthia, and that's why we're such good friends because we see eye to eye on so many things the same way. But I also don't, a non-negotiable for me is someone who says they're going to do something and then they don't follow through. Just like, because I'm really big on follow through. I teach about it, and it's just, if you're going to say that I'm going to commit to doing something, then do it. If you're going to say I'm going to call you or I'm going to email you, then email me, follow up. I don't like to have to go chasing after people when they've already said that they were going to do something.
Yeah. And the thing is, when we do it and we follow through or we surround ourselves with great people, we feel empowered. We feel that we have done what we said we were going to do. And that's part of, our.
What is a non-negotiable for you, Terri?
Yeah, Terri.
Terri, I want to hear.
Well, for me, it has to do with trust. It has to do with being in an environment that I feel is trustworthy, is transparent, and I'm not a big game player, right? So I really need people, and I need the environment to be authentic. And that's critical for me.
Totally get that. And, I'm just thinking of the people that I surround myself with. Terri, we've known each other, for a long time through the book project that we did and stuff. It's like, yeah, just everybody, just keep it real. Just be honest, just do what you say you're going to do, right? I mean, imagine if the world would just all commit to that. That would be a beautiful thing, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
For sure.
It looks like Pedro wants to join the conversation. So let me go ahead and, it keeps bouncing in and out of the open seat there. Sorry about that interruption. But Pedro, if you're trying to join in and you want an open seat, be glad to add you. But for some reason, you keep bouncing out. If you're having difficulty connecting with your question, please do /Q in our stream over to the right-hand side there, and we'll see what your question is that you have for Terri. And of course, we invite anybody else who might want to join in. Mindy, if you want to take a seat and join our conversation, you're more than welcome to, or anyone else.
Awesome. Yeah, I think Mindy's heading back into the office, and we know Mindy, Terri, so it'd be great for her to join in. All right, perfect. Well, I love that about the non-negotiables and stuff. Awesome, awesome. All right, so I think, let's see if Pedro's going to come on in with us.
Yeah. It looks like he's making an attempt to come. Sometimes it's just a streaming issue. Sorry about that. It doesn't look like we're able to get you to connect, but
all right.
We'll go ahead and carry on our conversation. Now, Terri, does being empowered mean only our way is the best way?
Well, see, this is where people get confused.
Help us out, Terri.
Because sometimes we think if we're empowered, it should be everything. It should be about what we want to do, right? It's our way. It's the best way. It's the only way. But the truth is, when we're truly empowered, we are very open-minded. We can listen to different perspectives. And not only can we listen to them, but we can accept them, piggyback on them, build upon them, and promote them. It doesn't have to be just us, right? I mean, have you had that experience where working with people, right, that their idea was the idea that really turned out to be the better idea?
You know what? I have learned and grown through life that definitely, don't surround yourself with people that, don't have all types of varied experiences. I want to be surrounded with people that are much smarter than me in different areas. That's the only way that we're going to learn and grow. Some people get threatened by that. For me, you know what? I want to improve. I want to get better. Everybody has their own strengths. And unless we surround ourselves with really smart, awesome people, how are we actually going to even step up our game, right? So I think it's so important to surround yourself with really super smart, awesome people.
Yeah. What about you, Wanda? How do you feel about, being open? Is that critical for our growth?
I hope you say yes.
What's that?
I said, I hope you say yes. If you go, nah, I don't think I'm very close-minded. And,
I think that we always have to look at more than our world. We have to invite people into our world, but we also have to be open into sharing other people's world and vision about how they view things. It's in my business, it could be geography that could create a different opinion of what empowerment is too. So what do you think about that, Terri? It's like, do you deal with people that geographically are empowered differently because of where they live?
That's a really interesting point. I really haven't thought about it, but, I deal with that because a lot of my training involves a global audience. Participants are all over, and what might be meaningful for one might not be, valuable to another. I guess I always say to be respectful, right? To be respectful of people's different points of views, and know that there isn't only one way. It's not good or bad, right or wrong.
Right.
Let me, just ask you a question in regards to your work, Terri, that's related to this. So, in my mind, and I'd like to hear your perspective, I'm open-minded. See, I'm open-minded to hear different perspectives. Is that in any organization, doesn't all this need to start from the top down? Is that how you typically work, with organizations? Is that, say, for example, there needs to be change that occurs. Don't you need the buy-in from the top down?
So that's interesting because change is constant, right? So change is not just massive change anymore. We have to be in agile situations and be very, very flexible and adaptable. Because what I oftentimes see, believe it or not, is change coming from the bottom. Change coming from middle managers, not necessarily always senior leadership. Of course, senior leadership needs to support it.
Right.
But I see middle managers, because they're really on the front and the line, they have a unique perspective. And they're able to rally their troops to share. So I think that it really can come from a grassroots kind of place, not just necessarily senior leaders.
Good point. Yes, middle management is on the line. They're there every single day, understanding, knowing what's going on. So definitely the middle management is important. That's great. Let's see. All right. So Wanda's asking people to join in the open seat. So
Real J Lindsay has requested to join us. So I told her, please to join in. I'm not sure if you know how to do that. All you have to do is you'll see that there's a big purple box. Just go ahead and click on that, and we should be able to accept you into the call. So if you're still there, we'd be glad to have you join us, or anyone else. It's like this is all about a conversation and learning about empowerment today. So
I love it. I love it.
Jump in.
I know, right? I know. Let's just talk about this. Isn't this Blab thing cool, Terry?
I love it. This is such an extraordinary way to have meaningful conversations, and it's so dynamic. I just love it. I love it.
I know. It's very cool. There's still a couple bugs going on, but you know what? It is awesome. We really, really love it. Okay.
And talk about empowerment. I have to stop and say that Cynthia and I empowered ourselves in our show by moving from Google Hangouts over to Blab week a week. Talk about stepping outside your comfort zone.
So how did that empower you? What did that do for you? How did that?
It gave us a great way to connect with a wonderful expanded audience that we weren't getting on Google Plus, right, Cynthia?
Right. Well, just the main difference between Google Plus and Blab, obviously, as you see, Terry, is that, when we're on Google, we can't really see who's really live and that real life interaction without opening second screens and being all types of crazy stuff. So here we can see people right there. They're interacting with us live. We can send it out to Twitter, which I love because I'm big on Twitter. And, it's just been fantastic. It just seems like the engagement is so much more here versus Google Plus. So for me, I feel free. And I think Wanda feels free because it's so much easier to promote.
Yes.
So I'm glad you're having a great experience with it, Terry. And I'm glad we're the first ones to invite you in.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yes, I do, taking the time to do this. No, it's great. It's great.
Perfect. So, all right. So, Terry, first we have to empower ourselves, right? It has to start from within.
Right.
So, okay, we're all empowered now. We're ready to rock and roll ourselves. Within 20 minutes, we just did it, okay? Within this lab. Now we're ready to take on the world and empower others. So I ask you, how can we do that? How can we truly empower others? And how do we do so?
Great point. I mean, can we really do it? Well, the thing is, of course, it has to come from within each of us, right? It's like a self-motivation. Motivation has to come from inside. Having said that, we can certainly start the process for people to feel empowered. And what I always think about is to doing it the same way that we started the process for ourselves. So how did we begin? We began by looking at ourselves and what was important. What were our core values? What were our non-negotiables? And we can do this with other people. And what we can do is help them key in to their gifts, their strengths, the areas that we see that they really excel in, and point them out to them and talk to them about it and ask them about it and also ask what's important. So that would be the first step. Really with them and helping them getting in touch with that piece of it.
Right.
The next piece, which I feel is so powerful and empowering, and that is storytelling. And that is getting our stories together. You know, we all talked before about our missteps and failures. We all have them. But to try to get them into a story that we can share with other people.
So what do you mean by that? I think I know what you mean by that, but what do you mean by sharing the story? They go, I don't have a story. You know, I just grew up and I'm working and, you know, this is where I'm at. What exactly do you mean by the story?
Well, we each have a story. We each have things that got us to where we are today. We each had successes. We've each faced obstacles and roadblocks. That becomes who we are. And if we can help other people see that their stories are really success stories, they have a history of success rather than a history of failures. Really, there are so many more. I once worked with this one woman. I coached this one woman. Got together, and all she did, she gave me a litany of all her shortcomings. Nothing, you know, nothing of the things that she was good at. And finally, after listening to it, I said, "What are you good at? What do you like to do?" And all of a sudden, all these things emerged that she was talented at, and realized that she really did have a history of success. So I think we have to help other people see that.
I agree with that. And, you know, a word that always comes up with me with, you know, mentoring women is a lot of times they just keep on saying, you know, when I initially work with them, you know, I don't know what I'm good at. You know what I mean? I really don't, you know. And it's really a confidence thing. And, you know, and really not thinking that, you know, looking within and focusing on your strengths is selfish or you're boisterous or, you know what I mean? Like, really, you know what? It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to focus in on yourself versus everybody else and really finding out what makes you happy. But it takes a little bit of time for some people to really figure that out or draw it out of them. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. How about you?
Some people it's easy. People are like, yeah, I like to do this, I like to do that, you know, but others it takes time.
It does. I was going to jump to
Well, we just had a discussion at the conference that I just went to, and it was basically about networking, but it was also about, you know, being kinder to ourselves. And one of the little exercises that we did every day was at the table, there were cards laid down and we had to pick a card. And it always said something positive, like this is going to be kind of like your mantra for the day. You know, it could be anything like I am beautiful, I am strong, I am intelligent. And I think that those cards might be a good idea. Just have a deck of cards every day that you pick from when you're getting ready in the morning to say, you know, I'm empowering myself and I'm allowing myself to be this today. You know, I am worthy. I am, you know, I'm smart. I am strong. And I can conquer this day. Because especially as solo entrepreneurs, I think a lot of people feel that isolation. And, you know, sometimes they do feel like, you know, they maybe have that imposter syndrome going on where they're like, okay, well, you know, I'm trying to be either the impersonator or the imposter because I want to aspire to be like somebody that I look up to, you know, a mentor or a coach or somebody that they might follow. And the thing is that just because you want that, you know, and you're a unique person and you can want it in a different way and your personality is going to shine through and everything that you do in life is going to be unique and different from the other person. You're not an imposter just because you want the same thing. Don't you think, Terri?
Oh my gosh. I think women in particular, you know, tend to do that. I love what you say. It's so true. We can sometimes think of ourselves not good enough, and we really aren't experts, and we really, you know, don't do the things that we say we do, right? And we really beat ourselves up. But I love the idea of really writing it down and knowing who we are and what we stand for and how incredible we are. And that is so empowering. I love that. Oh my gosh, fantastic exercise as well. I love it. Great. That's really, I got to remember that one. That would be great in some of my workshops, putting it, any of the, putting out these cards and, having people talk, write them out, and sometimes, and that's the other piece of it. Not even just for ourselves. We talked about helping others. Maybe everybody, writing a card about a team member and how they excel, and how they are outstanding and what their strengths or gifts might be.
Yes. There's one thing too, Terri and Wanda, that I do in my membership program is that, we do beat ourselves up. We kick ourselves in the butt for something that goes wrong, and it seems like the rest of the day, it's just like goes to crap. And every single day, I do a post and say, I want you to celebrate one thing positive that happened to you today or that you did today. So it could be that you ate healthy. You know what I mean? Everything else went to crap, but you know what? You kept on your exercise plan. Or you know what? I sent out that email that, I've been weighing on me, and I'm proud of that. Is that in addition to the gratitude and the affirmations at the beginning of the day, sometimes at the end of the day, we're so frazzled and feel like we didn't accomplish everything that we wanted to do, but focusing in on the positive at the end of the day, I think is equally as important, and celebrating. And so we could do that with our team members too, is that, hey, you did an awesome job on this meeting, running that meeting today. Everything else might have went to crap, but you did great. And so I think we need to celebrate ourselves a little bit more. I think we're so hard on ourselves. And I always have a card, something that I always have to remind myself, cut yourself some slack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you accomplished all of this. This didn't go your way. So I think we all need to do that. We're too hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, and one thing that Tish Times said at this conference, because it was her conference that I attended this past week, was if you have testimonials, let's say, about your business that you've gotten from people, and you're having one of those days that you go, I just don't know if I'm in the right business. Sometimes we go, I don't know, should I be in business? Should I go back to getting a job? She says, pick up those testimonials or those letters that somebody wrote you that said, thank you for being in my life, and remind yourself that you are unique and that you bring value to other people. It's not just what you bring to yourself, but how you touch the world.
Oh, it's so true. When even one person walks out of one of my workshops and says to me, Terri, thank you so much. You really made a difference today in my life. I feel total success. I feel, even if it was just one person that I touched, whose lives I touched, and that's how you're right. That's how we empower people and empower others. And these testimonials are a fantastic way to remind ourselves. Yeah, we do beat ourselves up. I don't know why.
It's just stupid. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? So I think that, people might be drawn to this Blab on the replay, or people live now, is that maybe they need some, positive energy, some empowerment. I know that Book Life Coach here, he indicated about how he feels isolated, and that I'm so much a people person, it's so hard, and I'm a coach too. And my point back was just keep surrounding yourself. Really, it starts with surrounding yourself with positive energy. Blabs like this, and there's obviously, coaches have coaches. I'm a mentor, I have mentors, I have lots of them. So don't go through it alone. If you feel isolated, definitely reach out for support, for help. It does get better. We've all been through crap. We've all been through stuff.
Sure.
It gets better, but be sure that, you don't stay isolated and feel isolated. Reach out for support.
Yeah, definitely agree. We can't let the daily manure get us down.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's the pretty way of saying it. All right. Well, perfect. So, Terri, remind the audience, we said it right at the beginning, but tell us a little bit more about your business and how people can find you and what services you offer.
Yeah, so if people would like to get in touch, you can go to my website at www.terriklassconsulting.com, and I have all the information there. I write weekly blogs, and I share a lot of leadership stuff. I have a free download of my ebook of all empowered leadership activities, which might be very interesting to a lot of us here. Please feel free to download it. And, keep in touch and let me know if I can come and help and be of service to you in any way. I would love to help. So.
I will let Wanda finish off this show, but I do want to give some clout to you, Terri, is that obviously we follow a lot of people on Twitter and on social media. Everybody, Terri Klass has one of the best blogs out there. I absolutely love your writing. You write about some fantastic stuff. And so, you know what, obviously you have services, that you get paid and you do and stuff, but you offer so much value to people in your articles. So thank you for that. You do a great job with that.
Thanks, Cynthia. I appreciate it. You too.
All right. Well, thank you for everybody for watching and tuning in today. Cynthia Bazin from Smart Chick. Great to see you all. And I hope you enjoy the replay. Wanda, I'll let you finish it off for the day.
And Wanda Baader here from Strategize Your Success. Thank you, Terri, for teaching us more about empowering ourselves and making our lives better in a more positive way. And we appreciate everybody who's joined us today. We hope that a lot of people catch this on the replay because we know that time doesn't always work out the best when we have shows. But the great information here, please share it with other people if you think it would be a benefit to them as well. And we will be here next Monday on the 28th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'll be talking with our guest expert, Debbie Saviano. And we'll be talking about how to do tweet chats. It's tweet chat. What is it? Not
Tweet Labs. No, I know. There's still tweet chats out there.
we need to know about this stuff. So Debbie's going to teach us about that next week. So please join in for that.
Awesome. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Have a great day, ladies. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. And Mindy, she said, you ladies rock. You rock, Mindy. Sorry, I'm like getting stumbled over. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Terri. See ya.